Greetings again, Nintendo fans. This is Nintendo Fan 4000 and the 4 for short. I told you all I would be back for the second part of this. So, yeah, indeed, it's gotten worse. We are once again talking about the Donkey Kong Wiki and how they are claiming that Donkey Kong, well, the baby Donkey Kong featured in Yoshi's Island DS is the modern day Donkey Kong when it is very clearly cranky. We are going to go straight to the trivia segment of the page to see what edits they made. Right here in trivia, they go on further than they did last time. They still have the part about the monogram bib, making it quote-unquote clear that it's supposed to be modern DK and not cranky. But they then take it a step further, stating that since modern Donkey Kong and Baby DK also appear in Mario Super Sluggers, that it's pretty obvious who it's supposed to be. Also, they go on to talk about Mario Party, saying that because Mario, Luigi, Peach, Yoshi, and Wario are arguing about who the superstar is, all of them just so happen to be star children in the game. So with DK being included in that argument, it's pretty obvious that, DK is supposed to be a star child and not cranky. This is wrong for a multitude of reasons. First off, I don't know if I do remember they didn't get into this last time. This is a form of deflection. Talking about the monogrammed bib and saying that it makes it obvious who it's supposed to be, they're obviously trying to say that Cranky Kong, who was the arcade Donkey Kong, didn't have a tie, and because he has a monogram bib similar to modern Donkey Kong, then that's what makes it obvious. But this isn't true. This is deflecting because they're trying to make sure that people don't remember that arcade Donkey Kong was redesigned to have a monogram tie. Donkey Kong 1994. It's interesting that they try to do this because they do mention Donkey Kong 1994 later on in this same trivia segment. Also, modern DK and Baby DK does not make it obvious. They're trying to make it seem as if to say, because Mario and Luigi have baby versions of themselves in the game, that heavily implies that they're supposed to be one and the same. Modern, baby, modern, baby. That's not how this works. If it did work that way, somebody not familiar with Mario lore could play Super Smash Bros. 4 or Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, select Bowser, and then realize that Bowser Jr. is a part of the character roster, and then come to the wrong conclusion that Bowser Jr. is supposed to be a younger Bowser. We know that's not the case. So a young version of a character does not mean that they're the younger version of the older character. It doesn't necessarily mean as such. So that's incorrect. And finally, the Star Children part of that, all that's going on here is that Nintendo's marquee characters were included in the very first Mario Party. Donkey Kong was a highlight character in Mario 64. To exclude him would not have made sense. Same with Wario. One could say that Mario Party's roster was heavily influenced by Mario Kart 64's roster. It has nothing to do with them being star children. The idea for the Star Children would have only started being written in the early 2000s because Yoshi's Island was released in 2005-2006. This is very much an example of begging the question. When you beg the question, somebody starts an argument assuming that the conclusion is true. That's not how arguments are supposed to work. Arguments are supposed to have a theory. You then have to prove or disprove that theory, and then the proof or lack of proof then gives the conclusion. You do not start with the conclusion. In this case, the conclusion, being that the modern day Donkey Kong is a star child and not cranky, is being used to then reason why Donkey Kong was part of the argument to be a superstar in the original Mario Party. No, that's not how arguments are supposed to work. And please carry that forward, anyone watching this video. If anybody assumes that something is right and then does the proving in reverse, call them out on it, please. Furthermore, and this puts this argument to bed, Super Mario Party. Remember what the plot of that game is? Every character, the vastly increased roster of Super Mario characters, which includes Rosalina, Diddy Kong, even Waluigi. They are all trying to decide who the superstar is. The vast majority of these brand new characters had nothing to do with the plot of Yoshi's Island DS, yet they're all claiming to be superstars. But this page is here trying to get us to think that in order to be the superstar, you have to be a star child. Super Mario Party itself proves otherwise. The next two paragraphs go on to discuss Cranky's physical similarities, or lack thereof, with baby Donkey Kong. And I say that with utmost sarcasm. It goes on to talk about that, as well as remembering that Mario is an enemy, and remembering that he's a star child, and merely respecting Mario in his cranky days. Basically, what these next two paragraphs are trying to say is that Cranky doesn't look anything like baby Donkey Kong, and as such, they can't be one and the same. And if Cranky really was a star child, he would most definitely have talked about being a star child and would not hold Mario in such contempt that he does now that he's older. This is wrong for so many reasons. First up, physical similarities. Tell me something, audience. Do you really think that Cranky Kong holds no resemblance to baby Donkey Kong? Take a long look. Similar facial structure with the nose and the mouth, non-conjoined eyes. Sure, the muscle definition is going to be a little less, not to mention they do try to use the muscle definition angle, but does anybody have the same level of muscle throughout the entirety of their lives? No, not a single person does. So obviously, whatever this ape is supposed to be doing, whatever this gorilla is supposed to be doing in life, their muscle definition or amount of muscle they have is going to go up and down. And in old age, Cranky is not going to be hoisting barrels over his head. But they do also try to go about the strength angle in this trivia piece as well. No, they're not going to get away with this. They state that a younger Cranky should look like Donkey Kong Jr. because Donkey Kong Jr. is arcade Donkey Kong, Cranky Kong's direct offspring. No. Conjoined eyes is very clearly a not so dominant trait of the Kong family. You do not have to have conjoined eyes when you are young, as proven by baby Donkey Kong's model itself. So yeah, baby Donkey Kong looks just like Cranky Kong. Non-conjoined eyes. What boggles my mind is later on they try to erroneously state that Cranky Kong has conjoined eyes when he doesn't. So which one is it? Does he look like Donkey Kong Jr. with conjoined eyes or not? This page is playing both sides. So what we, as consumers of information, have to do is figure out for ourselves, using our own gray matter, what's going on. And using our own two eyes, we can easily see that both baby Donkey Kong and Cranky Kong have non-conjoined eyes. And then we move on to not remembering Mario as being an ally and not remembering being a star child. They state that because Cranky Kong does not mention this at all, then it's proven that baby Donkey Kong is the modern day Donkey Kong. This is a fallacy. Who here remembers, who in the audience remembers what they did as a baby? The only thing I can happen to remember is I made a habit of climbing out of my crib because I wanted to be around my mother that much. After that, my only memory consists of me being 4 years old, knowing I owned an NES system, and I remember piling into a Honda to leave the house at the twilight, coming towards the evening. It was around 6 o'clock. Where I live, it starts to get dark at around 6. That's all I remember from my childhood. You really expect a group of babies to remember being star children, destined for greatness? Further, one of the star children, Baby Bowser, does not remember being a star child. Proof? Kamek himself figures out where the 7 stars fall, and he hatches a plan with Bowser to get the stars extracted from the 7-star children in order to rule the universe. Baby Bowser is a star child. One of the stars is inside him to this day, even in modern day. He is destined for greatness. He is a very prolific villain. Greatness comes in many forms. He himself can't remember he's a star child. Heck, further, modern day Kamek cannot remember kidnapping Baby Bowser from his past self. These characters do not remember the events of their pasts. But the simple fact that this has happened with Cranky, they're trying to use it to prove that he is not Baby Donkey Kong. This is a fallacy. I now wish for you all to focus on these next 3 subparagraphs. I'm not going to read them out, but you can pause and you can read and see what they're trying to say. They're trying to imply, and this is the smoking gun that made me know that I needed to do this video. You're going to find out why in a second. It's trying to imply that the babies were taken from multiple time periods. So now, this page is trying to have its cake and eat it too. It's trying to answer the question of the discrepancy between Mario and Donkey Kong's ages, and they're trying to find multiple ways of answering that. So, let's go with the erroneous statement that Baby Donkey Kong is Donkey Kong III, the modern day Donkey Kong. One of the ways it can work is if he comes from a later time period. They're trying to say that that might be true. And they're using the cutscenes of the game to prove it. You see Baby Donkey Kong being taken from his treehouse. You see Baby Mario and Luigi, and you see Peach being taken from their respective homes. In the next scene, you see Baby Mario and Baby Luigi and Baby Peach, but you do not see Baby Donkey Kong. In the same scene where Luigi is taken, Baby Mario is once again flung out from the stork and winds up lying on Yoshi. But you do not see Baby Donkey Kong in that scene, and they're trying to use that to imply, oh, maybe he comes from another time period. Maybe the stork's in time travel as well. They are rectum pulling lore from out of nowhere. They are trying their absolute best to prove that this is true. But you know, the game itself proves them wrong. I'm about to show you footage of Yoshi's Island DS after you beat World 4-8. I'm going to use editing magic to bring up the screenshot of the most important part of that cutscene, just in case you all missed it, given what these 3 subparagraphs are trying to say. No sir, but the crystal clearly says that the 7 stars did fall during this time period. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more on the most important part. For the kids in the back, during this time period. One more time for the slow children in the back. This time period. Singular. This page is trying to use a multiple time period kidnapping spree theory in order to defend their, trying not to swear, their moronic stance on this issue. They are rectum pulling lore from out of nowhere. and the text of the game itself is proving them wrong. This is amazing levels of foolishness. This right here is the smoking gun that proves that this page should not be taken seriously. This is the smoking gun that I saw that outright proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that this page should not be taken seriously. It was already pretty darn evident before, but this is a double down of a magnitude that I have never seen before in my life. The final addition to this page, it's all trash, but the final addition to this page goes on to talk about the possibility of the Kongs aging similarly to humans, and as such, it would mean that Mario would be able to simultaneously grow up alongside modern Donkey Kong, while later in life being able to fight Donkey Kong's grandfather. I mean, if you turn your brain off for a second, it kind of works. This way, Mario and DK can grow up at the same time, but then when Mario's an adult, he can fight off in his prime Cranky Kong, right? I mean, if they're all growing up around the same time, I mean, that can work, right? It can work. Except, if modern DK was left in the modern time period to grow up alongside Mario, why, when Donkey Kong is old enough to be in his prime, why then would Cranky Kong then be super old? Let's take it a bit further. Donkey Kong is taken back in time, which means a mature Cranky Kong, a Cranky Kong that is mature enough to have a child, is being left behind in the future. This Donkey Kong is now going to be growing up with a younger arcade Donkey Kong. So in either case, they're both going to be adolescents, and if they're both growing up similarly to adults, there is no way that when Donkey Kong is a mature adult, that his father is going to be severely aging in this supposed timeline paradox that the page is trying to bring up. It's foolishness. It makes absolutely no sense. And finally, I once again have to go over this ridiculous last part of this trivia, where they state that Cranky Kong, Wrinkly Kong, Donkey Kong Jr., and Diddy Kong all have conjoined eyes. Bring pictures back up, future me. No conjoined eyes on Cranky or Wrinkly. The site is trying to have it both ways. Either he looks like Donkey Kong Jr. or he doesn't look like Donkey Kong Jr. You can't have it both ways. Use our eyes. We have to use our own eyes to figure out when we're being lied to. We can't use emotion. We can't use bias. We can't use tribalism to try to figure stuff out. We need to use our own eyes and our own knowledge base. This page is lying to our faces using headcanon logic, outright lying and deflecting and giving misinformation out the wazoo in order to prove an erroneous point correct. That's not how this is supposed to work. So how is it supposed to work? Some of you in the audience are probably asking. This is how the lore of Yoshi, Mario, and Donkey Kong is supposed to go. For anyone actually paying attention in class with even the slightest bit of common sense. Modern day Kamek uses a crystal ball to find out where the 7 stars fell and in what time period. Singular. He and Bowser hatch a plan in order to gain the power of these 7 stars by kidnapping the children that they fell on. Cranky Kong, his younger self, is kidnapped in order to facilitate this plan. He, along with the other star babies, save the day and send modern day Bowser and modern day Kamek back to their time period. Baby Yoshi is born very soon after the events of this game. Time passes and the young Cranky Kong grows up to be the arcade Donkey Kong. He kidnaps Pauline, and in 4 stages, Mario fulfills his destiny as a hero and saves the day. Mario, taking it a little bit too far, takes Donkey Kong and imprisons him to make sure that he can't cause any more mischief. Donkey Kong's son, Donkey Kong Jr., because arcade Donkey Kong is well beyond maturity age to sire a son, has indeed sired such a son, and that son is able to defeat Mario and save his father. Arcade Donkey Kong then has one more adventure against Stanley the Bugman in Donkey Kong 3. Time passes and Donkey Kong Jr. has a son of his own, the modern day Donkey Kong. That Donkey Kong then has to suffer through the ever salty ramblings of his grandfather, while he has to have adventures of his own. Through all of that rambling, it should be noted that eventually Donkey Kong does adventure once again in Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. The lesson here, kids, is that when you have something to complain about, sometimes it's best to get up off of your keister and do something about it. And that's it. So yeah, what do you think? The Donkey Kong Wiki needs some serious change. There's too much nonsensical stuff and things that is just outright untrue on this page to make it seem that baby Donkey Kong is the modern day Donkey Kong. How would I fix it? Very simple. Completely erase the baby Donkey Kong page. Completely erase it. Take his information and put it at the beginning of Cranky Kong's page. Any other discrepancies, any other links to other pages, any other cohesiveness with all of that would then have to be fixed after the fact. And I'm not a moderator, but I think that sort of thing can be very easy to do. I want this video to be shared around as much as possible. This page needs to change. Wikis are supposed to be sources of accurate information, not foolishness like this. It really, really needs some kind of change. And the suggestions that I just gave are free. You can have those for free. I made their job easier. But please, anyone watching this video, find different social media platforms to share it to. I definitely am going to do my part. If there are any Reddits, any place where this stuff can go, I would be very appreciative if it can be found, if this video can be found there. My next project is going to be dealing with Mario and a common misconception when it comes to, well actually I'm not going to spoil it, but it's a misconception that's not talked about that often today, so I think I may accidentally bring the topic back up, but it still needs to be fixed. The theory was out there for way too long. But, until next time, this has been That's Not the Lore. I'm Nintendo Fan 4000, and a 4 for short, and I'm pulling on the flag. Later.